I'm a CTO and co-founder at Zemanta. We're a small Slovenian company, VC founded, now in Slovenia and New York. What we do is we create tools that help authors write their content. So while you're writing, we try to understand what's being written and help you with additional suggestions. Those suggestions might be links. So if you mention certain blog or certain company, we say, oh, why don't you link to their homepage or maybe to their Wikipedia page or something similar. We suggest you a logo. We suggest you a photo of the event you're talking about. And of course, we also suggest who else wrote about the same thing. But this does not work as other tools which you basically put on your page as widgets and then users get shown something. This actually is presented to the author, to the writer while he's writing, and he needs to click to insert a suggestion into his blog post or into his email or something else. So it is presented to him, oh, you know, Robert Scoble also wrote about this topic. Do you want to include a link to him? Yes, and it gets included. Click again and it gets removed from the post.
So how is this actually done? Is this actually done through a pop-up screen that while you're in your blog editor, for example,
so this is done in most unobtrusive way we could imagine. While you're in your dashboard, blogging dashboard or email, and you're writing, this is not even a pop-up, it's a sidebar where things change, suggestions change as you write. So you write more text, the suggestions get more accurate. It's not a search engine where you would put in a keyword or two and then you get something back, but really tries to understand the whole text and help you giving suggestions.
Interesting. So what, in terms of your customer base, would you say blog writers and obviously other content creators as well as your primary target audience?
We have two target audiences. One are the end users, the common people that just want more efficient tools to write more interesting, more fun things, to create better looking things. On the other side, there are professionals or professional organizations who have vast interest in improving authoring process and making the end product better. So instead of doing a research for images and for related links for 20 minutes by the journalist or blogger, he can do this in 30 seconds because he just skims over the suggestions, check them out, that they are what he thinks they are. Everything is basically curated by the author himself. It's not completely automatic, it just helps the author find and include the additional content.
Is there any natural language in? Does the system actually learn from your behavior?
Yeah. So this system is based on natural language understanding and semantics, and it's quite deep science. Of course, the system is not perfect. Computers do not understand human language perfectly yet. But it does much better job than having no assistance at all.
Okay, I'm sitting here with Andrew Hunter, who's the VP of Marketing with Qype and Qype.com. And Andrew, you mentioned in the presentation when you started is that it's a little bit like our Yelp, or the closest thing to our Yelp. Can you elaborate on that?
It's pretty similar to Yelp in the US. I guess where we're different is that we're multilingual, so we have 6 different languages. So I guess you could wander down to a pub here in London and read some reviews if you're Spanish or Italian or French and aren't happy with the level of your English. And we have communities in 9 different countries around Europe. We also have a Brazilian site that we launched about 6 months ago.
So 9 different countries?
Yeah, so 9 different countries in total.
So how are you like Yelp and how are you different?
That's a good question. So I guess we're like Yelp in the respect that we are strong believers in community and word of mouth being the real growth driver for the business. I guess we have a city-by-city approach as well. If you look at Yelp, they're very, very popular in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Boston, and maybe not so popular in Middle America. We certainly see in the UK specifically that London, Edinburgh, Manchester, and a lot of the university towns like Oxford and Cambridge love us immediately. We have to work a little bit harder in the slightly more remote areas, so I guess that's another similarity. And then I think business model as well.
So why in the smaller towns? Do you think it's partially because they've yet to adopt online resources as a way to find their local news when they're still looking to newspapers, or do they not trust the crowdsourcing of the masses online?
It's really interesting, and it was the same deal at Gumtree.com, where I used to work, which is an online classified site. We would have no trouble getting traction in the bigger towns and cities, and the cities with young, online savvy populations. But we would have all sorts of trouble with these smaller towns where maybe people aren't quite as savvy, quite as early adopters. They're not going to really get into it. I mean, I can think of some towns and cities in Britain where the population are only just getting into eBay, Amazon, just making that step. So it's certainly harder in Northern England for sure than it is in Southern England.
So, as a user, what would be the number one benefit vis-a-vis anything else that's out there on the web today in the UK and in Europe?
I think we pride ourselves on the quality and the volume of reviews that we have around specific places. A lot of the other local review sites out there have one-line reviews, lots of spam. We are pretty proud of our community and the way that they police the site as well. So if you were to look at a specific restaurant or a plumber or whatever, we're pretty confident that 99% of the reviews that you find are rich, high quality, and actually give you what you want to read. Admittedly, 1% of them are going to be spam, are going to be crappy, because that's a problem that we're all trying to fight and avoid. But we're learning how to combat that as days go on and as the site grows. So I think quality and volume of content is probably what I'm most proud of.
And is London your largest base right now?
So Hamburg and Berlin are actually the biggest cities. So as I mentioned earlier, we have 11 million uniques, and about 5 of those are in Germany. And then about 2 in the UK, 2 in France, and then the rest are spread among the baby Qypes, as we call them. And these are sites that are only 3 or 4 months old, so they're really quite nascent at the moment, but they're growing fast.